This week I was determined to find something cool to do in the hot summer weather, and I ended up finding the Stone Flower Caves, which is in West Beijing, and it was perfect when it's so hot outside. So at the end of this video, I wanted to give a little bit of information about how I use different apps to navigate and find addresses, even when I don't read Chinese, so that I can feel confident going places that I haven't heard people have gone to before. So here I've just added a little voiceover of some of the things that we saw while we were inside the caves, which was very cool.
I feel like we're adventuring.
We are adventuring. Luckily I had done my research, so I wasn't surprised when our DiDi had to stop at the parking lot and couldn't take us all the way to where it said the destination was, because we had to take these little golf cart trams all the way up to the entrance to the cave.
Here it's like there. Yeah.
There was this tour guide that was going to lead us all the way through the caves, and at the beginning she spoke quite a bit. So much that we kind of stopped. We're like, maybe this is important information that we really need to listen to. So we both pulled out our translators on our phones and clicked record so it would translate as she spoke. Careful, don't sprain an ankle. So we kind of got the gist of what she was saying. It sounded like she said that there had been more tour guides, but that a lot of people were out because they had twisted their ankle or that it was dangerous. It also sounded like she was saying that she was very tired and that she maybe wouldn't stay with us the whole way, but I don't think that is right, but that's just what the translation was saying. I never would have guessed this once we got started, because I felt like she was a really amazing tour guide and she did a really good job. Although as soon as we got into the caves, obviously we didn't have cell phone reception, and so we couldn't continue to translate what she was saying once we were inside. But it was still really cool. I think we've made a friend. I think so. Yeah. It sounded like she said like 70% of the cave has been like uncovered for use, but that's only 70%.
Whoa.
This reminded me a lot of the caves that I visited when I was in Guilin, but these ones were more, the space inside was bigger up and down. I felt like we went, up maybe 3 or 4 stories and then back down again. There was a lot of stairs going up and down. It was like a great little walking hike. Oh, I think this is our photo op here.
Ooh, this is sick. Should we get a picture?
There were some sections we went through that were quite narrow to squeeze through, and then other sections where it was, such a big open space. And they do a good job of putting lots of different colored lights and light around so that you can really see what is at the ceiling and inside each part of the cave. I read online that during summertime, the inside of the cave stays at around 13 degrees, and in the winter, it only goes to about 7 degrees. So no matter what, you kind of have this great temperature inside the cave, which is why it was perfect for summertime. She had explained at the beginning that the ground was maybe uneven and that we should walk slowly and step carefully, and also that it would maybe be wet. But at the start, I was really didn't understand why that would happen. But then as we went on, and especially when we went kind of in the basement, like down another level of stairs, that's when things started to get, it was like the ground was quite wet. There was uneven ground, not the same built walkways like there was when we were higher up. This was around the time where we had kind of an optional route. So they said, if you wanted to end your tour here, you could take the exit, or we were going to continue on into maybe a bit of a more treacherous section. So I think mostly everyone that was with us traveled on.
告诉您，如果要不是赶在这个疫情放开，有可能这啤酒我们就涨钱了。就是因为疫情放开，我们也做了一个大的宣传，所以现在还在买1斤赠1斤的当中。
Is it like a cellar, like an alcohol cellar? There was maybe more stairs in the second section, and in the second section there was a lot more netting. So not construction, but just more dangerous areas with like a lot more happening on the roof of the cave, I think. But super cool. Like, I really loved this adventure. I was worried how we were going to find a DiDi or a taxi when we came out of the caves because it was in such a remote location, but then there was one taxi that was right beside us at the parking lot once we got back there, and he was just like, "Hey, where are you going?" And we're like, "Just take us downtown." He's like, "Okay, great, get on in." So we were just very lucky, I think, that we didn't have to wait around outside in the heat. I thought it was super unique. Something that's off the beaten path, and a really cool little day trip to go and experience, so highly recommend.
Today we're at the Pearl Market. Alex and I are both getting suits tailored, and because we live here and we're not in a rush, we'll place our order, then we'll come back and get them like tailored, fitted, just like approved before the final ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know, Laura, what do you think of these? We got like this is the more navy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What about this one?
Well, that was the
This
other,
one.
as I was looking at.
Yeah, I think that's probably
This one.
yeah.
So this one is maybe it's good. Yeah, look, this is a black one. So look at the shape. It's a little bit slim.
Alex found a new spot for massages, which he says he approves of, and now we've just stumbled upon this like really beautiful park that's up by line 6, and look, it's so pretty. So we're gonna see how close we can get over there. See if we can walk all the way around. Come look at the flowers in the water. Let me show you. Look at the little water lilies, the little lily pads. Beautiful. We're back at my favorite restaurant, Green Tea. We were here a week ago, and I said we're close by, so it's only a 5-minute taxi to get here, so we might as well come here for dinner again this week. Why not? Dun, dun, dun. As promised, I want to walk you through my process of finding things when I don't read Chinese, but I still want to feel really confident about something that I found to go do. So for this trip, I started off just looking at random blog posts with lists of things to do in the summer when you want to find something nice and cool to do. And that's where I first found the Stoneflower Caves. From there, I needed to know if it was still open, because obviously things that were posted pre-2020 maybe aren't still in operation now or have different hours or whatever. So the next place is I check 2 places. I check my trip.com app, which has lists of activities and it has reviews and things, and it's all in English. And the other place that I check is Dianping, which is kind of like the Chinese Yelp, and it also has lots of reviews. It lists things in English, but it's mostly in Chinese, and that's also a good place for me to start looking for the address. So this was a little bit off the beaten path, and I wanted to make sure that I had the right address. So I cross-referenced the address that I found on Dianping, and I looked it up on Do Maps. Do Maps is essentially just like Google Maps, but all in Chinese. And you can really see all of the details and exactly where you are. Once you find a location, it has a bubble with a little picture. You can click on it and see the site that you're trying to go see. So it's very helpful. From there, I wanted to make sure that one of those addresses, either in Chinese, which I had then copied, or in English, I was able to find on DiDi. We were going to be taking a DiDi, which is like Uber to try and get there, even though from us it was like an hour and a half away, and the car had to go through kind of this windy section. It's definitely like out of the city. So whenever I get into the DiDi, I always like to check with them and like make sure, like, is this okay that we're going so far? They always say yes, but I have been in a DiDi before where they haven't really been happy to be driving us so far, but it rarely happens. But I like to kind of like check in with them and be like, is this okay? Like, we're going kind of a long ways, but it's good. So I had cross-referenced a lot of addresses. I had found this site on a couple different places, looked at reviews that said that they were recently reviewed. I translated some of the Chinese reviews, read some English reviews. So I felt like I had a really good idea about the fact that we would, you know, only get to a parking lot and then maybe have to walk 15 minutes or take a tram up the rest of the way. So it wasn't really a surprise when those things happened, and it just made me feel a lot more comfortable that I kind of knew what was going on and that I could lead the team. Anyways, kind of a short vlog for this week, but I hope that you found this interesting. So yeah, I'll see you again next week. Thanks, bye!